one I don't really know if I think it's from why. So this West African Examination Council, Wassce for schools 2022, and these are the requirements. Now, if you read carefully, I'll give it to you so that you read so that at least you know what is required of you. But um, was wrong. Okay. Um, there are some things that you need to take note of. Now it's on the deduction. If this is indeed the mark scheme they used, they have to deduct 1 mark. That is the fourth point. You have to deduct 1 mark for omission of units. So please don't let us lose any mark when it comes to the units. If it's meters per second, just add it. If it's degrees, just add it. But the good thing about this is the deduction is going to be done only once. So if you omit the units like 20 times, you just lose 1 mark, which is okay. But I feel you shouldn't go through or lose any mark because of deduction. That 1 mark can separate you from an A. Okay, so that is one thing I wanted to talk about. Now, you are not supposed to also suppress your work. That is the third point. You don't. I don't think I've got issues like that in this class. Yes, it's actually with the other class that like you instead of something you can write in 8 lines, you write it in like 2 3 lines, leaving out some important things. So you are not supposed to do something of that nature. Now, I think there is this point that yes, and one thing too, if you feel that you've answered the question but you're not so sure, you've got two different methods. I think the sixth point, if a question is attempted more than once, mark all and record that which gained the highest score. That is going to go for you. But do this wisely because someone's father is marking your paper and the person is being paid to mark your paper. If you are to answer every question twice, you think you are going to make the person excited. The person is marking for money. But this condition says that if you solve more than one, they have to mark all the questions you solve and take the best score out of it. That's not what we normally do over here because we don't really want you guys to put the examiner under stress. But if you feel that you are not so confident in the method and you feel that there is a different method to use, please use it. They have to mark all and take the best one. But don't overdo it. If you do that, I think you are going to, it's like you are messing up with the teacher or the examiner marking your paper. The next one, if more questions are attempted. So the previous one, back to the previous one, don't really cancel something. That is basically that is telling you. Unless maybe you are very, very sure that that thing is wrong. If you are very, very sure that it's wrong, just cancel it out. But if you don't cancel, they take the best score. If you have to answer more questions, like the compulsory, you can't answer more questions in the compulsory because you have to answer all. But with the optional, you have to answer 4 from each part. So, 4 questions, at least 1 from each part. So, let's say the pure math, you could answer 2 questions out of 3. You answer 2. The prob and stats, I think majority of you answer all the 2 questions. And the mechanics, you answer 1. So, in this case, you've answered 5 questions. They'll first mark the first 3, that is the 1 from each. Then the other 2, they'll mark and take the best score out of it. Is that okay? So, they're going to take the best score and they'll indicate MQA, which implies more questions answered. Those of you that you've ever answered more questions in the recent test and progressive that we wrote, I did that over there. But I think the last mock, because of the possibility that I may post this one somewhere, I'm not going to mention names, but someone answered all the questions, all the 15 questions, and I marked all and selected the West. So I'm that way. But why would you show off? Like there is no point in showing off during an examination. Is that okay? there is no point. If you are going to answer the question, answer the best ones. If you are answering all, make sure you're answering all and getting everything correct. Don't answer all the questions and me, that's what I did to the person. So a potential A, he was supposed to get an A, but I think that landed him to a B3 or I think C4 also. So I marked all and I selected the West. I know I can be very tough, but you shouldn't be doing that. Even though you can do that, you shouldn't be doing that. Someone is really marking and the person is getting money out of the marking, and you think the person will be lenient, like be that flexible to mark all 15 questions when you could actually use that time to mark two question papers from different people. Okay, so the total score of this is 100 and it goes that way. This one says that unless otherwise stated, if you use a method that is not specified in the marking scheme, they should still mark for you. That's why they let subject teachers mark the question that you give to them. So you pray that your paper won't be given to someone who is not math inclined. Is that okay? WAEC won't do that, but maybe the paper can be given to me, but because I want to mark a lot of papers, I can also delegate my duties. I can give some to someone. Maybe the person is not that math inclined. So if you use a different method, the person won't be able to catch that. That's why it's one thing writing the paper and one thing getting your results as well. So right after the paper, before you do anything, just commit your paper into the hands of God. Otherwise, Charlie, you can be the best student, but it gets around B3, and I don't think you'll be in the best position to go for remarking unless maybe you want to stretch the thing. But prayer is also one important factor. So this is just some things that you need to know. And I think, did I leave anything out? Yes, yes. I think there is one that says that if the method is zero, the answer is zero. I think the second one. So if you can't get M0 and get A, so if the method is wrong, the answer is wrong. Be very, very careful. If you're going to get something wrong, make sure it's the answer, not the method. And this I suppose because you can actually copy someone's answer. I know none of you do that, but it's a possibility. Okay, so this is the mark scheme, and we'll start solving the questions. The questions weren't that complicated. We'll start solving the questions and we see how best we can take it. So the first question is a pure math question. In the compulsory, you should be expecting a minimum of I think three pure math questions, but ideally you get four pure math questions, two vectors and mechanics, and two probability and statistics. I don't know how this one went, but this question is a pure math question. It's not that complicated if you know what you are doing, but it can be very, very difficult if you've got no idea of what you are doing. So in this case, you just need to do verbal representation. But before you do the verbal representation, I think it would be best to rewrite the function or the equation. So this is 3 raised to the power x plus 243, and this can be written as over 3 raised to the power x minus 36 equal to 0. This is because of the negative exponent. The negative exponent can now be written as a fraction. You know all this. So I do a verbal representation. I can let a variable, let's say m or x. Let's say I can't use x because x is already there. You can use x, but it may end up confusing you. So let's use y is equal to 3 raised to the power x. This gives you y plus 243 over y minus 36 equal to 0. So this, what's wrong? Okay, sorry. This y squared plus 243 minus 36y equal to 0. At this point, don't really stress yourself looking for two numbers when multiply. Just use the calculator and get the values of y. There is no time. And you have to budget a minimum of, let's say a maximum of 7 minutes for the compulsory question. Don't exceed 7 minutes for a compulsory question. So if you feel that that question is going to take much time, go to a question that will take lesser time. Okay, so we solve this quadratic equation. The coefficient of y squared is 1. This is negative 36. Please be very careful. It's likely someone can use 243 for the coefficients of that, and that will be terrible. Okay, so this gets you 27 and 9. So x equals to 27. Sorry, y equals to 27. Y equals to 27 and y equals to 9. And you go backwards. This y minus 27 and this y minus 9 is equal to 0. Is that okay? So this, I think, that is what is going to get you the method mark, not the entire solving process. This may be different with core math. Maybe core math will give 1 mark or 2 for finding the two numbers when multiplied. You know the drill. So let me just rule a line to, yes. If you think you're going to divide your page, make sure that it's visible. Don't do it in a way that you can't really read what you are doing. Because we've gotten the value of y and we did a substitution, I can take it out from there. Y is equal to 3 raised to the power x. So this can then be written as 3 raised to the power x. 3 raised to the power x is equal to 27, and 3 raised to the power x is equal to 9. At this point, you can use two methods to do this one. If your power table is very, very strong, you can use the power table, but I like to use logarithm because that is a general method. I know this 27 can be written as 3 raised to the power 3. In this case, s equal to 3. And 9 can be written as 3 raised to the power 2, s equal to 2. But it's best to use logarithm because not all the numbers can be written in the form of the other base. So what I can do is to take, this is a longer method, but it's going to get you the solution. Log of the base of both sides. So in this case, x is equal to log 327. This is not really required. Like I said, there was a shorter method, but I'm saying this because it could be that this 9 wouldn't have been 9, but instead 8. That doesn't mean that this can't be solved. Are you getting me? I'm saying this for a general purpose. So this is 9, and this is log 3x base 3 is equal to log 9 base 3. This can be typed on the calculator, so that you are guaranteed of an answer. Typing this on the calculator, this is going to give you log, what is the one with the base? Okay, log 27 base 3, and this is 3, and this will also give you an answer of 2. So this will give you 3, and this will give you an answer of 2. Any question with that one? Any question? Okay, so let's see the mark scheme requirements of this question. So with the mark scheme requirements for question number 1, this says that if you do the substitution where you make a variable representation, you get a method mark for doing the substitution. Now, A1, if you're able to rewrite this as a quadratic equation. Now from there, M1 for solving for y, you realize that they didn't really give any mark for the method like that. So if you take your time to go through the quadratic formula minus b plus, you are wasting your time. You are not just wasting time, you are wasting space. Is that okay? So there is a mark for solving for y. And solving for y, what they mean is basically getting the two, this side, getting the two brackets. That is y minus 27, y plus 9 equals to 0. Now from there, getting the answer and doing the back substitution. You see that what I was saying didn't really play over here. In this case, they use the direct 3 raised to the power 3 and 3 raised to the power 2. That is shorter, but like I said again, we actually need a general solution. That's why I was using the logarithm. It's not compulsory, but I would advise that it's best to use a logarithm. Okay, so that is just question number 1. So this is for 6 marks, and it shouldn't be that complicated. Question number 2, I don't really like. Let me write it well. So for question number 2, it's not. I don't like the way it's on the different page. So P operated on Q is given as P squared minus Q squared over 4. And we have to evaluate 2 operated on 3 over 3 fifths. We have to evaluate this one. This is one of the easiest questions. I don't expect anyone have taught for over 2 years to commit such an error. That would be a disaster. So there is a way to use a calculator for it. I'll teach you that one as well. That one is quite lengthy, but let's do the working first. So basically, you sub 2 for that, and you sub 3 fifths for Q. So this gives you 2 squared minus um, 3 over 5 squared. Let me put this in brackets over 4. What is this giving you? 4. Okay, all over 4. I think you are talking this way because you don't want your voice. Okay. So 4 minus 9 over 25 over 4. What is this giving you, please? 0.91. 0.91. Okay, so exactly. Okay. So in this case, you can check your answer by kind of like programming the calculator. I'll let A to be my P and B to be my Q. So this is going to be A squared minus B squared. This is just to check your answer. About 90% of pure math questions, you can actually check your answer. So this is basically the function A squared minus B squared over 4. Pressing the cal key, this is giving me a question mark. What's the value of A? In this case, what's the value of P? Is 2. And press equal to, what's the value of B? Is 3 fifths. Press equal to, and that gives you the same thing you gave me. So 0.91. Knowing perfectly well that you've gotten this one correct. Okay, then we move on to the next one. This time we're told that if x operated on 6 is equal to 3 over 1 over 4, you have to find the value of x. So the function again was p operated on q is equal to p squared minus q squared over 4. So basically this is going to be x squared minus 6 squared over 4 is equal to 3 and 1 quarter. Okay, so you need to change this mixed fraction into an improper fraction. So there's x squared minus 6 squared over 4. If you've forgotten how to do this one, it's simple. You can use the calculator, press the shift and the fractional key, you get the mixed fraction. There's 3 and 1 over 4. And you press equal to, and there's 13 over 4. So if you've forgotten how to do this, you don't really need to stress yourself. So there's 13 over 4. Multiplying both sides by 4, giving you x squared minus 6 squared is equal to 13. This is going to give me, okay. So this x squared is equal to 13 plus 6 squared. 13 plus 6 squared, 49. Okay, so x squared is equal to 49. What do you do from there? So it takes square roots of both sides, right? What's a common mistake at this point? Plus or minus. You see people leaving the answer as 7. I'm very sure that if you leave your answer this way, you'll be penalized. So this one, anytime you are solving for a variable and you take square roots of both sides, one of the sides should contain plus or minus. So there's plus or minus, because this is telling you that a number squared is equal to 49. There are two possible numbers. 7 squared and negative 7 squared will still give you 49. So this is the full question again, and this is the second pure maths question. So it means we should be expecting 2 more pure maths questions, and this is not that complicated. So looking at the mark scheme for this one as well, we got this one with ease, and I don't even know why they are giving marks for this one. But anyway, you need to simplify a bit further. So would have lost 1 mark from the marking scheme. Yeah. Are you getting what the mark scheme is saying? The mark scheme says that the 4 minus 9 over 25, which you gave me, you should get 1 mark for it. Now, simplifying the top, the numerator, you should get 1 mark for it. And getting the answer, you should get 1 mark for it. So we would have lost 1 mark for this question, but we still got the answer correct. Now, the next step changing to improper fraction, there is one mark for it, and setting up the quadratic something, there is one mark for it, and one mark for the answer. And this minus 1 over 2 EE. What this means is subtract half mark for each error. So for each error seen, they are going to subtract 0.5. What they mean by that is if you leave your answer as 7, not plus or minus 7, you lose half of the score. Is that okay? No, half of the mark, not score. The score is 6. I don't know, like you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so that is the second question. There's a third pure math question. This question also looks a little bit scary for those that you are not so comfortable with trigonometry, but this is one of the easiest questions on the paper. The first thing you need to do is to look at what the question is telling you to find. The question tells you to find tan 15. And looking at the question itself, I can see tan 15 throughout. And if you are kind of scared of the trig functions over there, the first thing you can do is to do variable representation. So I can let a variable represent tan 15 so that I know that anytime I see that variable contains tan 15. So in this case, I can let x to be equal to tan 15. Tan 15, okay, if that's the case, I can now write this one as 2x over 1 plus x squared, because tan squared 15 is basically tan 15 all squared. It's equal to sine 30. But sine 30 is actually a number. They could have given you this number, but I think they wanted the question to look more scary. What is tan 30? Okay, so there's 1 over 2. So at this point, you can cross multiply. This gives you 4x is equal to 1 plus x squared. And rearranging everything, x squared minus 4x plus 1 equals to 0. That is setting up the quadratic equation. In this case, again, you don't really need to solve this one. So use the calculator and go backwards. So 5, 3, so we've got 1, negative 4, and 1. So, oh, did I do something wrong? Okay. So x is actually, then I think this case, going backwards you'll be caught. So try to use the quadratic formula. So use the quadratic formula. We look at the max scheme requirement, so don't worry. We use the quadratic formula for this one because we are not getting a specific value like an integer value. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to guess the two numbers straight away. So any rational person will know that you use a calculator. So okay, you use a quadratic formula to solve this. We don't really have the luxury of time, so let me write down the answer. So x is equal to plus 2 plus set 3, x equal to 2 plus set 3, and x is equal to 2 minus set 3. Okay, so this should be the answer, but we are not done. We are not done yet because we said that x is equal to tan x. We can now continue to get an expression for tan 15. Oh, basically we are done. Oh, yeah, we are done. But there is something. I was looking at tan theta, not tan 15. There is something that we should do. There is one more thing. We can point it out. The answer is not two. Like it's not. It's one of them. Yeah. Since it's acute, it's 2 plus set 3. Acute, you see, the angle we are dealing with is 15. This angle is in the first quadrant. And the first quadrant, everything is positive. That is sine, cos, tan, and whatever trig function in the first quadrant is positive. We know the cast, or all students take calculus. I don't know which one you use, cast. So since we are dealing with the first quadrant, I'm expecting a positive answer, not a negative answer. The two answers that were given, this turns out to be positive, and the next one turns out to be also positive. Interesting. Oh, wait, so okay. So what is going on? Which one will be the correct one? Okay, 2 minus 3. Why? Come again. Use a calculator to verify. Let's see the masking requirements for this. Okay, obviously you use a calculator to verify that, but one of them is correct and one of them isn't. Okay, so it turns out that 2 minus 3 is the correct one, but why? 2 minus 3. Okay, I was actually expecting one of the answers to be positive and one of the answers to be negative. Let's see what is going on. Um, but basically, if you use the calculator for the term 15, this should be 2 minus 3. So I think in this case, we have used the calculator to confirm. But find out why this is so. There is a reason why that is so. Find out. Then we talk about it. Come again? When you take tan inverse of, okay, so when you take, for this one, we've got tan 15 is equal to 2 plus 3, right? So in this case, let's say that this is not 15. Let's assume that this is not 15 and it's a variable x. So if I'm to take tan inverse of this, I should actually get 15. So if you don't get 15, then it means there is something wrong with it. One of the ways to check is to use a quadrant. That didn't work. So we need to think of a different way. So tan inverse of 2 plus 3. This is giving you 75 degrees. And tan inverse of 2 minus 3 is giving you 15 degrees. So with that, we can say that the answer to the question is x is equal to 2 minus 3. Therefore, tan 15 is equal to that. 2 minus 3. Are we good? Okay, so let's again look at the math scheme requirements and we take it from there. So with this one, if you set it to 1 over 2, that is a sine 30 to 1 over 2, you get 1 mark for it. Statement of fact, the B mark. Now, if you, again, they didn't do any variable representation. I think they did it somewhere, yeah. They did it later on, but we did ours earlier. If you set up everything, I think this one, there is nothing special to say about the math scheme. I think it's straightforward like that. And one thing, you see that they use a quadratic formula. Is that okay? They use a quadratic formula. The method mark is for the quadratic formula. So you need to use the quadratic formula. And there is no need to write A is equal to 1, B is equal to. That thing I was stressing you in year 10. That's because I wanted you to get what is going on. So you don't really need to write. After all, there is no space over there. So if you use the space to write all that, then you are wasting the time and you are wasting space as well. Is everyone good? You sure? Okay. So question number 3. I think this should be the last pure math question. So we solved 4 pure math questions. Given that f of x is equal to x plus m over x minus 3, where x is a constant. Hey, m is a constant, sorry. And x is not equal to 3. Why the condition x is not equal to 3? You make it undefined. Okay. So again, you have to find f of 5. Find the value of m if f of 5 is equal to 1.5. So in this case, we sub 5 anywhere you see x and you equate it to the value we've been given. So this is going to be x plus 5 over hey, sorry, my bad. So this is 5 plus m over 5 minus 3 is equal to, again you can change this into mixed fraction, which is going to be equal to 3 over 2. Okay, so this simplifies to the denominator is going to be 2. So 5 plus m over 2 is equal to 3 over 2. In this case, this gives you 5 plus m is equal to 3. And what is going to be the value of m? Negative 2. And you get marks for this. It's not that complicated. Yeah, so now that we've gotten this, we need to get the new function. So f of x is going to be equal to, the function is x plus m. So x minus 2 over, is there something wrong again? Okay, x minus 2 over x minus 3. So this is a function. Now we need to find the inverse of this function. The process of, yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. But I think it will be better for you to give them a guide. So we look at the masking requirement as well. So don't worry. So the first one, in finding inverse, you have to set the function to y. In this case, y is equal to x minus 2 over x minus 3. Is that good? What do you do from there? Interchange. Okay, so x is going to be equal to y minus 2 over y minus 3. And you make y the subject. So x into y minus 3 is equal to y minus 2. Then xy minus 3x equal to y minus 2. Then in this case, I'm making y the subject. So we need to group everything equals to 3x minus 2. Are we good? So from there, this gives you y out x minus 1 is equal to 3x minus 2, and y is equal to 3x minus 2 over x minus 1. This implies that, or therefore, f inverse of x is equal to 3x minus 2 over x minus 1. Are we good with that one? Okay, so this again wasn't that complicated. I think so far we've not really got any concept that came from year 12. Year 12, you didn't really do any pure math, did you? Year 12 was mainly stats and mechanics. Okay, so this question number one is year 10, your first year. Question number two, first year. Question number three, basically like early second year, trigonometry, and this is first year. So just imagine if you don't revise your first year notes, it means that this will catch you by surprise. And maybe they are doing it because I don't know for a fact, but that is if the others they are not done with the syllabus, maybe they can get something to write. But anyway, yeah, we're supposed to find the value of x for which the function is undefined. Find the value of x for which the function is undefined. So in this case, for this function to be undefined, the denominator should be 0. So we're going to equate the denominator to 0. In this case, x equals to 1. So for x equals to 1, f inverse of x should be undefined. So there is no